approaches. And I find business is so much more of an
Give me
art.
an example.
Well, for example, I had a little bicycle rental business, one of my first businesses on Cape Cod. I started when I was 19 years old, and I started advertising in the newspapers to talk about our bicycle rentals, and then I started advertising in a tourist magazine that was read by 500,000 people. People everywhere in Cape Cod are picking this up and reading it. And I tried advertising there, and I got almost no results. And finally, I put up a really crude poster at a campsite talking about how we would deliver bicycles to your campsite, and the business took off.
Tell me about your books. You see a lot of manuscripts come across your desk.
Right. Yeah, we're one of the largest publishers of business books and probably the largest publisher of career books in the country. But nonetheless, I really wasn't completely happy with the many different books in small business out there. So I spent my late nights last year writing this book, Adams Streetwise Small Business Startup, because I found that a lot of people writing business books didn't have too much experience, or the experience was in one business. And they found what worked for them and started to preach this as the holy grail. Like, we found this secret in advertising, it really worked for us. But I found 11 different businesses for me that was very hard to say was going to work from one business to the next. So you have to have this streetwise approach. At the same time, I found that there were some rules that were particularly important to follow. There were like 3 rules particularly important. Getting a strategy down that sets your business off from the competition is so important in any business. In a one-person home-based business or a huge international conglomerate, having that strategy is so important. Often I see 2 people working in a business. One person working really hard, all kinds of hours, struggling. The other person in this exact same business with the same resources, not struggling, not working too hard, and being very successful. The difference might be that one has a strategy that sets his business off from the competition, the other doesn't.
Bob Adams' business books, CD-ROMs, and seminars can be located on the internet at Adams Media, that's one word, adamsmedia.com. If you have a comment or if you'd like more information about any of the stories appearing on this morning's First Business program, we'd like to hear from you. Just give us a call, toll free at 1-800-521-3442, or send us a fax at 202-463-3186. The hungry, hair-eating Cabbage Patch doll will now come with a warning. Federal officials and Mattel Incorporated have announced that the Cabbage Patch Snack Time Kids dolls will feature warning labels about the toy's propensity to devour hair or fingers that get too close to its munching mouth. New Year's Day isn't only for resolutions, as you probably know, it's also a day when college bowl games are on the menu. First Business correspondent Scott Wapner has our preview of what's available.
2 great matchups stand out this New Year's Day. The Outback Bowl in Tampa matches Alabama and Michigan. Coach Gene Stallings leads his Crimson Tide for the last time. Bama, number 2 in the SEC, yet again will need stellar defense against a mighty Michigan offense, which struggles at times but usually finds itself in January. In the granddaddy of them all, the Rose Bowl, an old friend and a new kid on the block parade into Pasadena. The game has national championship implications, but not for the better-known Ohio State Buckeyes. They blew a chance at the title with a late-season loss to Michigan. Arizona State can win the trophy, but will need help from New Orleans. More on that later. The Sun Devils already beat Nebraska. Will Ohio State be next? The Cotton, Citrus, and Gator Bowls also will be played today. Tomorrow, the lone game, the highly anticipated Sugar Bowl in the Big Easy, and the rematch of interstate rivals Florida and Florida State. Aside from two great teams on both sides of the football, the game has subplots aplenty. Most notably, a charge by Gator coach Steve Spurrier of dirty play by Seminole defensive players. It's a charge State coach Bobby Bowden steadfastly denies. While it's clear Bowden and Spurrier don't like each other, neither do the two teams. Expect a war here, with the team making the least amount of mistakes, hoisting the national championship trophy. Scott Wapner, First Business.
So you've chosen to be your own boss. Running your own business means doing what you love, and doing what you do best. Except one thing you don't love one bit: doing the books. Well, now you can say goodbye to your bookkeeping hassles forever, because the makers of Quicken have invented QuickBooks, the #1 selling accounting software that makes it fast and easy to do the things you don't love doing, like paying bills, writing invoices, figuring out what your customers owe, even tracking inventory and doing payroll. QuickBooks makes it all hassle-free. How's this for fast information? A click, and QuickBooks shows you this quarter's income and expenses. And look, a few keystrokes, and QuickBooks does your invoicing for you, and then does the bookkeeping automatically. So you can get back to doing what you do best, growing your business. It's even easy to try QuickBooks. Call now to get a trial version absolutely free through this special limited-time TV offer.
That number is 1-800-246-7799.
Wouldn't it be nice if everything on TV had ratings this high? Families and businesses across America rely on Mass Mutual for life insurance and financial security. Mass Mutual, the blue chip company.
Speculation that a cold snap in Europe would cut into supplies caused heating oil prices to rise yesterday. Here with more on this and other commodities news is reporter Greg Burns.
Heating oil prices were higher yesterday at the New York Mercantile Exchange. Traders are betting that a cold snap in Europe and shipping disruptions will cut into supplies. Heating oil for February delivery rose 2 cents to 72 cents a gallon. February crude oil was up 55 cents to $25.92 a barrel. Meantime, at the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, hog prices rose again amid concern about a smaller-than-expected breeding herd. The June through December contract jumped the 2-cent limit for a second day. February pork bellies were up nearly 2 cents as well. And in New York metals markets, February copper rose 2 cents to top $1 a pound on supply worries. For First Business, this is Greg Burns, Business Week Magazine, Chicago.
Now here's a look at how this morning's national weather picture is shaping up. More rain in the Pacific Northwest, cloudy in the southwest. Look for showers and thunderstorms along the Gulf Coast. Clear to partly cloudy in the east, cloudy in the upper Midwest. Temperatures will range from the single digits in New England to about 70 in South Florida. They left a lasting impression on many of us, those that risked their own lives in '96 for the sake of others, and there were those whose lives ended last year. Others made headlines for committing alleged heinous crimes. First Business correspondent Trish McShane takes a look at those newsmakers.
U.S. Marshals arrested the so-called Unabomber, former Professor Theodore Kaczynski, in April. He's charged with 8 bombings in 6 states that killed 3 people and injured 23 others. In October, the sequel to the trial of the century continued. The families of murder victims Nicole Brown Simpson and Ronald Goldman are suing Simpson for damages. This time, O.J. Simpson took the stand in the civil trial and denied he ever hit his wife. But 2 witnesses testified he did. In another high-profile case, Richard Allen Davis was sentenced to death for abducting and killing 12-year-old Polly Klaas.
He's a toxic pollutant upon our society, and the sooner he leaves this world, the better off we all will be.
The trial for the 2 men accused of bombing the federal building in Oklahoma City was set to get underway in Oklahoma City, but the trial was moved to Denver. A judge ordered the move to ensure a fair trial for defendants Timothy McVeigh and Terry Nichols. The bombing killed 169 people. Now from those behind bars to those in the spotlight hailed as heroes. In 1996, some hometown heroes saved and changed lives all across America. In South Bend, Indiana, a bus full of kids headed for school heads for a river instead when the bus driver blacks out. But then John Waldson jumps to his feet and hits the brakes just in time. The children suffered only minor bruises. Being confined to a wheelchair didn't stop Diane Sullivan from saving students trapped and injured inside this bus. Sullivan is a trained EMT. She defied physical odds to answer the call of duty.
So I got out of my chair and crawled through the cinders and started helping out.
Near Boston, factory workers dove into this canal to save a 2-year-old toddler who fell out a window and plunged into the water. Workers pulled the boy to safety and saved his life. Meet AC, the golden retriever. This canine hero used his instincts to pull little Nolan from a pond near his home. Just 2 weeks earlier, Nolan's family adopted AC, saving him from being put to sleep. But another courageous story didn't have such a happy ending. 7-year-old Jessica Dubroff died when the plane she was flying crashed. She was trying to become the youngest person to pilot a plane across the country. The entertainment industry lost some legends in 1996.
It's important to be alive at my age.
Comedian George Burns died shortly after celebrating his 100th birthday. The celebrity always had an endless supply of one-liners and a smoldering stogie in his hand. The graceful and athletic hoofer Gene Kelly died in February at age 83. The legendary dancer is credited for revolutionizing dancing on the big screen. This world bid farewell to Audrey Meadows in '96, but Alice Cramden will live forever. Meadows was 69. Country's comic Minnie Pearl died in March at 83. Ella Fitzgerald and Tiny Tim also passed on in '96. So too did humorist Irma Bombeck and rapper Tupac Shakur, who was gunned down in Las Vegas. The journalism world lost John Chancellor, a pioneer of television journalism, in July, as well as Jimmy the Greek Snyder. The man who put the NFL on television, Commissioner Pete Rozelle, passed away in '96, as did the most famous pool player, Minnesota Fats. Several notable politicians died last year, Edmund Muskie and former Vice President Spiro Agnew. The Roman Catholic Church lost 2 leaders, Cardinal John Kroll of Philadelphia and Cardinal Joseph Bernardin of Chicago. Tomorrow on First Business, a look at the year in business and technology. Trish McShane, First Business.
That's it for First Business Wednesday. Happy New Year, everybody. We hope you have a great year. We hope you have a great day, and we'll see you back here tomorrow morning. Bye-bye.
First Business, business news for business people, has been brought to you by MassMutual, the blue chip company, and by the U.S. Chamber of Commerce.